Skin is a bit of a strange brand. It's part celebrity brand, part serious product offering, part cash grab, in a way that makes the history and the evolution of the brand, and of course its rebrand, all the more fascinating as it stands as at least an interesting example of what can become of a once failing brand. Skin was set up in March 2017 by Kim's a Princess Incorporated, the same company Kris Jenner set up for Kim for her merch lines when they began their Keeping Up with the Kardashians TV show back in 2007. However, there's evidence of specifically Kim Kardashian makeup since 5 years before this when Kim, Kourtney and Khloé set up Chroma in 2012. This was mildly successful in the affordable price range, selling in CVS, Walgreens, and Duane Reade, and so by January 2014, she trademarked Kardashian Beauty. Specifically, Kim trademarked this, it's under her company, and under Kardashian Beauty again saw fair success and interestingly had a matching lip gloss lip liner combo that predates Kylie Cosmetics. So, the idea for a Kim Kardashian brand was well conceived before their official setup as KKW in March 2017 and well before their soft launch with Kylie Cosmetics that was announced the following month. Make no mistake, this was a cash grab. It was meant as a testing of the waters to see if the Kim Kardashian brand alone could sell makeup that was effectively the same as what was already on the market, even being sold by her sister. And she could. They even had a second collaboration the following year that did equally as well. However, this second collection actually came after the individual launch of KKW Beauty. You see, only 3 months after the initial KKW and Kylie lip gloss collaboration, Kim had already announced her new line as KKW Beauty, standing of course for Kim Kardashian West as she was married at the time. The line was announced with contour and highlight kits, and to promote it, they released this series of promotional imagery that quite quickly caused controversy. The makeup used in the imagery was accused of being blackface, sparking an argument over Kim Kardashian's Armenian roots and whether that level of darkness of the skin was naturally possible for people from Armenia. However, this seems from the way that the problem was resolved itself, much like shock marketing. Like the brand perpetuated the scandal themselves because, as unethical as that sounds, it did have the desired effect of making a big splash to cause controversy, to bring attention to the brand, to sell more products, and they had a really decent launch, making millions in the first few hours alone, much like they did with the same kind of scandal over at Skims, which I do have a video about on my fashion channel under Stitch if you are interested in more details about that. Though, with KKW, it was still overshadowed by Kylie Cosmetics. The truth is, they never really would be able to shake this comparison to Kylie. Kylie Cosmetics was really huge when it launched, it changed the industry, and it had a lasting impact. So, because the two women are sisters, this drew heavy comparisons that had both positives and negatives. Positives in that often when Kylie's brand was discussed, so was Kim's, but negatives in that it was the same price point made by the same people and yet comparatively less desirable because Kylie's had more of a social impact. You see, Kylie Cosmetics and KKW were both made by Colourpop owner Seed Beauty, who I do have a video on if you're interested in their history. They effectively had the formulas made and the celebs just picked their colours. We discussed in my video about Kylie Cosmetics how their agreement was one where Kylie owned her company 100% and Seed had approached her to use her name on beauty products, sort of like outsourcing, sort of like licensing. We can assume that Kim had a similar deal, as it had been so lucrative for Kylie, but of course that came with the risk of the comparisons. However, the product itself was well conceived. Much like Kylie Cosmetics, its first products were based on makeup techniques that Kim had adopted and become known for, which in Kim's case was contouring. So, it played into her celebrity branding well and thus sold out quickly. However, when the product arrived at doorsteps, the reactions were not particularly stellar. There were issues with the quality of the product for the price, that the brushes were ineffective, and that the product didn't blend well. But yet, that almost didn't matter. This was a cash grab and wasn't meant to foster long-term customers. And in the short term, Kim had huge influence on the product that was undeniably selling out consistently, making her a lot of money very quickly. However, much like Kylie, This was pretty much it for KKW. They had a very big, splashy launch, made a lot of money, but really over time struggled to find longevity in the industry. Of course, they released new products like the Creme Contour and Highlight Kit, and they even became stocked in Ulta in September 2019. So the brand was growing, but by and large, their only differentiator was Kim's name, and so it plateaued. But it still profitably plateaued. This in turn meant that in June 2020, a 20% stake was purchased by Coty, but not for the $200 million as so many sources claim, though we will have to come back to this because it wasn't known at the time. The sale itself was obviously instrumental in helping the company see expansion globally, as Coty simply had more resources than Seed, who were far more of a local company than the huge conglomerate that was Coty. However, due to Seed's allegations from Kylie that she was sharing trade secrets with Coty, they also had suspicion enough to file an injunction on KKW in June 2021 for sharing trade secrets as well. We have literally gone over this injunction in my Kylie Cosmetics video, but effectively, from the court documents, it's a little unclear what the injunction was actually for, though a large part of the public seemed to think it was in regards to the chemical formulas from Seed, which likely derives from the way that it is worded in the documents. And unfortunately, it had quite the detrimental impact on the success of the brand. By 2021, the sale was completed, the lawsuit ended, and the brand was still going, just not necessarily as lucratively as it once had been. However, upon further inspection, KKW was no longer just about KKW anymore. In the deal with Coty, according to their own annual reports, acquired the rights to license, manufacture, distribute, and sell products containing not only the KKW brand, but also the Kim Kardashian brand name. They also, in 2028, have the option to acquire another 31% of the company should they desire to, and effectively the company would be theirs, which in turn brings into question the much discussed price tag of $200 million. Evidently, in the recently released annual reports from Coty, it became clear that only $19.4 million of that was used to buy KKW, suggesting that much like Kylie Cosmetics, it was not doing as well as we had been made to believe, and instead, the Kardashians were inflating the valuation of the business, with the remaining $180.6 million having been paid for the acquisition of the Kim Kardashian licensing agreement. It's no wonder, therefore, why the company was closed only a few months later. It was likely making very little money, as evidenced by the low buyout offer, which honestly seems more like it was their in for buying the Kim Kardashian brand than it was actually an effort to buy KKW. Plus, the closure could be hidden behind Seed Beauty's lawsuit and her recent divorce, giving a reason aside from the falling sales. This, in a way, protects the branding and the valuation of the Kim Kardashian name quite nicely and ensures it holds value, which of course would be very important for their all-important rebrand. The rebrand was planned mere months after the acquisition, with Kim's a Princess Incorporated filing for trademarks only 2 months after the acquisition, before KKW was officially closed, trademarking everything as is normal. Interestingly though, is the fact that these were filed by Kim's a Princess, not by Coty, suggesting that once again Kim owns the company and Coty are minor stakeholders. We know Coty own a good percentage because it's in their annual reports, but confirming if KKW and Skin are exactly the same company has proved very difficult, though it certainly was promoted as a rebrand, so I assume it must be, with Coty owning 20% with an option for 31% until 2028. In regards to the aesthetics of the brand, once again Kanye West, aka Ye, was brought on as curator. He designed the packaging and the visual language. I believe he even designed things as small as the fonts that were used, even post-divorce, as he had done for Skims, which I have a video on over on my fashion channel. Of course, it's really this that fed into a new era with the brand. You see, with Skin, everything had changed. The packaging, the world building, the price point, the formulas, nothing was the same, and that's for good reason. I ran a SWOT analysis for KKW, and as you can see from my perspective, the old brand was great at targeting their younger audience. But that audience was growing up, and as that happens, we tend to see beauty tastes change into a more reliable, solid product one can buy over and over again instead of these quick, trendy, colorful products. We even see that there is a serious threat of similar brands taking the spot of KKW if Kim's personal fame ever does wane. Even Kylie Cosmetics pretty much already was taking the spot of KKW because they had similar aesthetics, similar customers, similar products after all, and now with Kylie Skin, they were cannibalizing each other's potential growth areas, which of course is just not the best way to grow. It's major competition from your own sister. You can understand why from this that there was a need to differentiate from Kylie to bring in a more solid product at a higher price point and perceivably less trend-based packaging. Of course, it is trend-based, but this trend is meant to look timeless, so it has kind of the same effect. So, the rebrand was incredibly well informed, but perhaps too well informed. The fact it launched with 9 products felt dated. The packaging, though beautiful, was also a little dated and felt a little cheap in hand. Plus, many brands have similar packaging in different shades, released at around the same time, most notably Rhode. The product itself had reviews that spoke of the product not really feeling in hand like it matched with its new price point, and of course, it came with the backlash at the fact that the price point was raised. Though, in fairness, the latter was an important step in distancing Skin from KKW. For telling the customer that this brand is a serious attempt at the beauty industry, that this was the brand you want to invest in, not just play around with. The price point effectively signified that the products are developed not just from Colourpop's existing formulas, but individually for skin, and they are meant to last. This mentality also comes through in many other of their controllable elements as well. The packaging is promoted as reusable. Obviously, the price point being higher suggests a less disposable product, and of course their aversion to using shock marketing to retain relevance all adds into this feeling of luxury. You see, shock marketing is often used today in the way of scandals in order to keep a brand noticed by potential customers, especially by celebrity brands. It's a way to spread awareness that's fast and cheap, but it comes with a lot of risk of going too far and also risks the luxury world building of the brand. And yet, regardless of its positive or negative shock marketing, it drives awareness better than anything. So today, when marketing is primarily what makes a brand valuable to the consumer, the choice not to do this marketing is a marketing move in itself to seem stable and reliable. Even the one scandal that Skin did have, that their refillable bottles aren't really refillable, that they're simply cases for an otherwise perfectly good bottle, was relatively quietly forgotten about and didn't have the traction it could have had if it was more purposeful. Interestingly, over time, they haven't released new products as far as I could tell. They have a makeup bag and brushes now, and of course the infamously overpriced home accessories, that's true, but not new cosmetic products. Really, the only bit of actual informative news that has been released about Skin has been their very recent announcement that they will be starting a VIP program, which they announced on the 8th of November 2023. This obviously feeds into the studied consumer behavior in cosmetics, where consumers respond particularly well to loyalty cards, something we discussed in my Sephora video because it was their competitive advantage way back when, but it also provides Skin now with a lot of information about their customers' buying habits and more personal information. Plus, it creates a bond between brand and customer that can seem more personal and drive brand loyalty. All things really perfect for a brand that is trying to force customers into brand loyalty, repeat purchases, and advocacy. However, with all of that said, we simply cannot know if their efforts have been fruitful. It's true that Skin have been quieter than many brands. We simply don't hear about them often. They don't do collaborations or advertising much, and that comes with positives and negatives. Same with the lack of releases, positives and negatives. There have been estimates that Skin sales have seen an over-year decrease since KKW, but of course that is the case. KKW was more affordable, it was more accessible to people. This article also states searches for Skin were below KKW, And that is true. Even since launch, skin has only had about a fifth of the searches on Google worldwide than KKW has had. So, we're in a kind of strange place with skin. As you can tell, the brand may be a bit confused. Maybe it's purposeful, maybe it's not. Expensive looking packaging, but cheap feeling and somewhat greenwashing with the refillable packaging. The products are expensive, but not particularly unique or luxurious in reviews, at least not equating to the price point. No buzz around the brand, but very adverse to shock marketing, something the Kardashians in particular are well known for, and their online impact in terms of social media and searches is generally really lacking as well. Could this be purposeful to create an image of a reliable brand? 100% yes. But is that likely? Personally, I'd wager no. Honestly, to me, this seems like Coty had requested Kim to rid the brand of its cheaper image of KKW to distance itself from Kylie, which in fairness was very much needed and the rebrand was well planned. They did all the market research and came up with a concept that fit their target market. But in doing so, they just missed the boat on the trend. It was kind of too little too late. There's certainly potential for skin. It's in the family of Kim products that are meant as more of a reliable product, like the Skims brand I just covered on my fashion channel. And to be fair, if that is what they're going for, strong brand loyalty, nothing should change too drastically. They will want to stay reliable, as that's simply more valuable in the long term than having great sales now. But if they want to see the long term, perhaps better marketing, better world building would help the brand with the confusing perception that we are seeing now. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. For more videos like this, but about fashion brands, please check out my fashion channel Understitch, and thanks especially to my wonderful patrons over on Patreon who make all of this possible.